Hey, good evening, Cyclones everywhere. Welcome to our first ever Class for a Cause. This is the association's special Young Alumni Cardinal and Gold Gala virtual event. I'm Matt Van Winkle, Visual Content Specialist for the ISU Alumni Association. Joining me this evening is somebody you all know well. I'm going to bring him on screen right now. It's Mr. Jeff Johnson, the Laura and Russ Talbot Endowed President and CEO of the Alumni Association. Hey, Jeff.
Hi, Matt. And good evening, Cyclones. So glad that you all are with us this evening.
Jeff, I'm just going to give you a quick cheers tonight. It's a cold night here in central Iowa, so I hope you all are staying warm. Jeff and I have got our drinks here. Hope you guys are having a great evening as well. We've got a really fun evening ahead. We've got fun guests lined up, some interviews, plus we've got some learning to do, Jeff, and some prizes to give away. We want to know where each of you is watching from and what year you graduated. So let us know right now in the chat. So to get things started, what do you say we give away a prize, Jeff?
Hey, let's do that, Matt. And I think we have something that has become very familiar here in the city of Ames and on the Iowa State campus, and that is warm cookies from Insomnia Cookies. And we're going to draw for this, and I think this first one will go to Allison Veranda, class of 2016. She lives in Fargo, North Dakota. And the second one will go to Emily Costa, class of 2018, graduated from Iowa State in kinesiology and health, lives in Omaha, Nebraska. And by the way, Emily, thanks for being an annual member. I'm going to take a bite of a cookie in both of your honor, and thank you again for joining us this evening.
I just took a bite as well. So Jeff, I'll let you take your bite. Be on the lookout for your name throughout the event tonight, as we will be giving out other prizes to people on our registration list. Jeff, I think we have a lot of people with us tonight who aren't familiar with the Cardinal and Gold Gala. So why don't you tell everyone a little bit about what funds raised from the Gala support? And I understand this is the 10th year for the Gala, a big year for it.
You know, it is. It's the 10th year, and this was supposed to be an anniversary year, being that 10th year. But again, let's just go back and just make sure everyone understands. One of our largest market of alumni anywhere in the world is right in our backyard, and that is down in Des Moines, Iowa. And as we all know, when you live in Iowa, you can get access to Iowa State through the newspaper, your local TV station, radio. You can literally drive to campus. And so we wanted to do something to really show the folks in Des Moines really how special they are to us, but we wanted it to be something that they couldn't get on their own. And so as always, a very creative staff here at the Alumni Association sat down and we came up with this idea of doing a black tie gala, and it would be black tie optional. We thought that through this effort, we would have the opportunity to also allow alumni and friends in the Des Moines area to do some things that would help Iowa State at the same time, not just come together just for a party. And out of that grew this idea that we would form the Cardinal and Gold Gala. This gala has allowed us to endow 6 scholarships that we award each year, and these scholarships go to first-generation college students who are enrolling here at Iowa State from the state of Iowa. So this deserves a round of applause. So if you're out there and listening, let's give a round of applause for this effort, because what I've just said is so incredible. We have fully endowed all 6 of those scholarships that this gala was put together to support. This event also supports student and alumni programming at the Alumni Association. Therefore, it allows us to have funds to help support homecoming, Student Alumni Leadership Council, and programming that we are creating for future alumni through our Legacy Club. We know we have some former student leaders who are watching live with us tonight, so a special hello to each of you. But at the heart of it, it's truly about connecting Cyclones everywhere. So thank you for being with us this evening. Now, we do want to take a moment to ask for your partnership. Tonight, we're asking you to consider how you might give through the Cardinal and Gold Gala as part of this Class for a Cause tonight. We're asking you to think about this. We're asking you to be very true to yourselves, though. Do what you can, give what you can, and do what you feel you can. Allow me to expand on this statement. That giving may not necessarily be financial. It may be thinking about how you can contribute to the community of Cyclones Everywhere in your future. We have an excellent opportunity as well for alumni of all ages to share through their time, their talents, and their treasures. So donations like the ones we received tonight are just one way we can ask you to help us support students and continue to enhance the mission and vision of Iowa State University. It's also the way we share how Iowa State University and Cyclones Everywhere are making communities, the state of Iowa, and the world a better place. And lastly, it's our way of also bringing you quality young alumni programming, such as career resources, networking events, and more. So if you would like to donate tonight, a link will now appear in the chat. I know this is early on, but again, this is an event that is not simply about giving, but it is an opportunity for you to learn about ways in which you can help support the work of the association. We also recognize that in our collective, we can truly be greater than we are as individuals. So we created Class for a Cause as a special event within our gala program. Not only will we be hearing from special guests later in the evening, one that I think you're going to really enjoy, and Matt, I know you and I really had an incredible opportunity to sit down with this gentleman, but you're going to get to hear from Coach Matt Campbell tonight. You're also going to hear from President Winterstein, and we'll be chatting with fellow young alumni and giving you a little class on building a brunch board. But throughout the night, you'll also hear about the many, many ways you can partner with the Alumni Association. And seeing that some of the names of the registrants that I'm already starting to see who are with us tonight, I want you to know that I want to thank you for partnering with us, because I know that many of you are already members of the association. So Matt, I wonder if any of our alums and friends who are joining us tonight have been to the Des Moines Gala before.
That's a great question, Jeff. And I know we're seeing a lot of people in the comments. I just want to read a few who are joining us already. Bennett Kaufman is from Salt Lake City joining us today. Trey
Hey,
Hemmingson.
Bennett, how you doing, man?
Trey,
You're in Al League, yeah.
Yeah, Trey Hemmingson's out in Denver, Colorado.
Let me say something. Trey is going to be on the ballot, on the next ballot for the board. He is being honored with an opportunity to be voted as a new member of our board. So congratulations, Trey.
Congratulations, Trey. That's very exciting. We got Stacy out in West Des Moines here in Iowa. Stacy, hope you're staying warm. It's supposed to get really chilly later this week, but we're staying warm inside here in the Alumni Center, Jeff. But hey, we want to know, has anyone here attended the annual Cardinal and Gold Gala in Des Moines? Let us know in the chat how many times you've attended, or maybe if this is your first gala event. Speaking of attending the gala, Jeff, we have a special message, as you mentioned, from somebody who has attended the gala every single year.
Yeah, really special. She did this as a dean, and now as your 16th president, Dr. Wendy Winterstein has attended all 9 galas and is scheduled to be with us on Friday night. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But let's have an opportunity to hear from Dr. Wendy Winterstein, Iowa State's 16th president.
Greetings from Iowa State University, and welcome to the first ever Young Alumni Virtual Gala. What a wonderful opportunity to connect with young Cyclone alums across Iowa and the country. I want to offer my thanks and congratulations to the Alumni Association, led by Jeff Johnson and his excellent team, for creating this fun event. I understand tonight's special guests include Lauren Grant-Vose, who started Zestful Kitchen, and Vanessa McNeil, who started Story Maven Media. I always enjoy the opportunity to learn more about Cyclone entrepreneurs like Lauren and Vanessa and how they've turned their passions into successful businesses. One of my top priorities as president is to create a culture where more of our students see themselves as entrepreneurs and innovators. In the past year, Iowa State University launched a new brand campaign, Innovate at Iowa State. This reflects our growing national leadership in innovation and entrepreneurship education and the unique value we're adding to the undergraduate experience. Innovate at Iowa State is a campus-wide effort to infuse innovation and entrepreneurship into the undergraduate curriculum of all 7 colleges. It's also about the exciting opportunities available here in the brand new Student Innovation Center. This state-of-the-art building is the campus-wide hub for all students, as well as faculty and staff, to express their creativity, innovation, and entrepreneurial genius. I'm standing in front of the student-run retail store, Innovate 1858, where you can purchase products designed or created by Iowa State students. The Student Innovation Center provides an environment where a student in apparel design can work with students in engineering and business to not only design a new piece of clothing, but also explore how to manufacture it at scale, market it to consumers, and then sell it right here. We all know innovation is a part of Iowa State's land-grant DNA, dating back to our founding in 1858 and our pioneering efforts to modernize 19th century agriculture. Then in the 20th century, ISU launched the digital age with the invention of the first electronic digital computer. Innovate at Iowa State is about building off this legacy of excellence and giving our students the 21st century tools, resources, and technology to turn their ideas into impact. Whether it's starting a business or working for an established company to help them improve their status in the marketplace, we all want Cyclones to develop the mindset to be leaders, problem solvers, and difference makers. When conditions allow, I hope you will take the opportunity to visit campus and explore the excitement of the Student Innovation Center. 2 years ago, the prestigious Princeton Review ranked Iowa State 26th for innovation and entrepreneurship out of 300 public and private universities in the United States, and now we are number 11. I'm confident we will crack the top 10, just like the Cyclone football team did after their amazing Fiesta Bowl win. That's something we can all celebrate and be proud of. I hope you will continue to stay connected to Iowa State University and share your Cyclone pride far and wide. We are grateful for alumni and friends like you. Enjoy tonight's event and go Cyclones!
Well, I know if you're like me, that deserves a round of applause. And we want to thank President Winterstein for taking time to be with us. And what's also been incredible is to watch the comment section for seeing how many of you are attending your first gala event. And I want to thank you you could be doing so many other things tonight, especially those of you who have families. And I know some of these names, so I'm just thrilled that you are giving us a piece of your evening. And so a big thank you. And then I just want to take just a moment to thank President Winterstein's husband, Robert, who oftentimes behind the scenes does so much, not only to support President Winterstein, but to support the Alumni Association and Iowa State University and our students. So again, to the Wintersteins, thank them for so much that they do for Iowa State and her long-standing career, and now at the helm of leading the university.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff, we've got some more to give away, don't we? We got some more cookies to give away.
Let's do it.
I've already been kind of nibbling on mine throughout the night. They were warm when they got here, but they're getting cold, so I got to eat them fast. But we had somebody I didn't want to point out in the comments said, I'm late to the party, but I'm here. So go Cyclones. No worries, John. You can always watch this replay after it's over. But thanks so much for being here with us. So, Jeff, you want to announce our next winner? Why don't you do that?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's recognize, I think it's Alicia Hansen. Class of 2010, graduated here in animal science and from Bartow, Florida. So congratulations, Alicia.
Congratulations, Alicia. We will be in touch with you about receiving your cookies from Insomnia. Jeff, why don't you introduce our next special guest? As you mentioned earlier, we got the opportunity to talk to a really big man on campus, we'll call him, right?
Yeah, and I want everyone to know time is what none of us have a lot of, but we have it equally. And we're just blessed that Matt Campbell, Coach Campbell, took time after we shared with him what we were doing and the importance of engaging this marketplace of individuals, that he would sit down with us and grant us an interview. the other thing I want to share with you is that you're going to hear a lot in this interview that we just could not give it all to you tonight. So we're going to do some of it on Friday night at the Cardinal and Gold Gala. So if you've not signed up for that event, I hope you will take time to do that. But then after Friday's gala, we will put up the entire video of the entire interview, and we'll make that link available. But again, one of the things that we really wanted to talk about, Matt is known for talking about trusting the process. Mm-hmm. What does that philosophy really mean? And how can we learn from that as not only young alumni, but alumni and individuals and citizens within our communities? And so I think you're going to find this interview extremely interesting and helpful. We didn't ask you to bring paper and pens and pencils, but you may want to take notes. I brought mine.
I got my notes.
I did as well, because every time I hear it, I learn something new. So let's go to this video, Matt. And again, we're going to be doing the rest of this on Friday night, and then we will post the entire interview after the gala is over on February the 12th.
All right, here we go.
Coach Campbell, good to see you. Most folks don't know this, but I know you personally now after a few years, and I want to thank you for the number of times that you've allowed me and the Alumni Association to engage with your program. Secondly, it's important for us to acknowledge today just how excited of a season you, your players, and coaches provided to Cyclone Nation. As you're aware, and you hear me tell your student recruits all the time, we have alums that are everywhere. And during this time of COVID, athletics has been an incredible opportunity to keep people engaged. And the season that you folks produce, and then to finish as Fiesta Bowl champions, please accept our congratulations, and thank you again for joining us.
First and foremost, Jeff, thank you so much for the great introduction. I just want to say this from my end in our football programs, and to you, Jeff, what you have done has been an anchor in terms of the success that we have been able to have. The time that you have spent in terms of helping us identify the right character and human beings to come into our program, to the development and really understanding the value of what it means to be a Cyclone. And I think, Jeff, you have been such a key piece of the success of our football program, who we are and who we have brought in, to what it means to put on a jersey each and every Saturday and who we're representing. So I do want to say just a sincere thank you. And I really don't believe we would be anywhere near where we are as a program without your guidance and leadership.
So, Coach, you've used the phrase trust the process since you arrived at Iowa State as a head coach. Can you explain what this phrase means for the program and how you've seen your players buy into it over the years?
Yeah, I think that's the cliche of trust the process. I think the biggest word that's most critical in that statement is the word trust. And, when we came to Iowa State, I'll never forget the first meeting that we ever had with our student athletes. I know the thing that I said is that at some point in this program, when we have success, there will be one foundational piece that stands out within our walls. And that word is trust. And that foundation is trust. And, it's funny because in college football, trust is a very unique thing to be able to find and see. But to me, it flows in four different areas. It flows with the relationship from coach to coach. It flows in the relationship from coach to player. It flows in the relationship from player to player. And it certainly flows in the relationship back from player to coach. And so, I think one of the things been so unique is putting the day-to-day habits and processes to becoming the best version of yourself, so that quality of trust can run strong through our program. And, I think that's really what that process, or that phrase of trust the process, is the ability to one day at a time earn the right to become the best version of yourself you can be for the betterment of the program, to really get to the root of that value of trust. And something we work really hard in, something we continue to work really hard in to become and reach our full potential.
So, Coach Campbell, as our football coach, you have a great responsibility of leading a group of young men at a very, very influential time in their lives. And there are a lot of voices in their heads and in their ears and in their faces. Walk us through how you and your staff have been able to work with your student athletes to create the current culture you have, and what expectations are for these young men on a day-to-day basis. And I would add to that, doing that in light of COVID, where in some ways one could say some things were taken from all of us, but especially these young men who have to focus and give you that trust that you speak about.
Yeah. Well, and I think it all comes down, Jeff, to relationships. And from my end of it, that is what I love about my job. That's what I love about what we get to do. And it's building sincere, authentic relationship. And, you know, I constantly remind our coaches, and I remind the leadership in our football program is, you know, we have a phrase of young people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And
Right.
That's a great quote that is really has stuck with the foundation of how we built this program. And, you know, I think it always reminds ourselves back to, boy, the developing authentic and real relationships. And when we look at our job really is to love, care, and serve the young people that we get the opportunity to work with on a day in, day out basis. And, you know, I think when you talk about what did COVID really give to us in a really profound and positive way, I think it allowed us two things. Number one, it allowed us reflection. Obviously, the months of March, April, and May last year put us into a point where, you know, I think probably was a great benefit to all of us because it allowed us to have some time away and to really reflect on what's important. And I think one of the things for myself and our staff was it put the priority of relationships with each other, with our families, and then also with the student athletes that we get the opportunity to serve every day. It put those at a premium. And, you know, I think one thing I'll give so much credit to our coaching staff and the leadership within our players is the ability to stay connected during that time of quarantine a year ago. And I really think that was huge. You know, the number one priority that we put on our process to grow during quarantine was that we felt like it was critical that we stay connected with our student athletes. And we had a personal touch point on a daily basis for 3 months with each of our players. And I really felt that was critical because, you know, you're talking about a time where, yes, maybe we or our families or our loved ones were going through hard times. But boy, the 18 to 22-year-olds that we were coaching, they were back home now and they were dealing with real life adversity, real life issues that were present right in front of their faces, not only with them trying to become, you know, finish school online or do a really good job of staying in shape physically, but I think the challenge of what this pandemic was doing to their own families. And some of our players had to get jobs. Some of our players had to be caretakers to their siblings for their parents. And I think there was a lot of things that were really challenging the mental psyche of our 18 to 22-year-olds, where that real relationship, that authentic relationship, our job to be teachers and our job to be you know, guides in the lives of our 18 to 22-year-olds, it really came into vision of really what is our job and our responsibility. And I couldn't be proud of our coaches and our staff for doing a great job of guiding and being guideposts for our young people through tough and trying times.
You and your wife, Erica, have 4 young children. During the year, you and your staff put in long hours between recruiting, practicing, and preparing for games. And you spoke about family in your response. It wasn't, and I just think that's important, that relationship is important. How are you able to balance family with work?
Yeah, you know, I think, Jeff, you know, personally, even from my end, what one of the greatest growth process that I found in the last year is probably an area that I would love to get on here and say, boy, I've done such a great job of finding that balance. And yet, you know, I would tell you that I think I knew in some ways prior to, having this quarantine, that probably I was failing in some of those areas. For me, a young professional, got a head coaching job at 31 years old. I feel like everything was going at max speed for the last 9-10 years. And for the first time in my life in March, things were able to really slow down. And, I really got to be at home. And man, there were times that in terms of the quarantine, you're like, holy smokes, the appreciation for your wife of dealing with a sixth grader at the time a year ago, a fourth grader at the time a year ago, a kindergartner, and then a preschooler. It was like, geez, man, your sincere appreciation of this is what's going on at home every day, and the time and the effort and the commitment that's being made, that these young people and your wife are making for you to do your job, and maybe at times to raise other people's children. And yet you also hold a key priority of raising your own children and being a great father and a husband at home. And so I think, we were able to all gain great perspective. And, one of the challenges I gave our coaching staff a year ago was the ability to grow. And I think for me, I had to grow. And I think that was an area for me coming out of that quarantine of how do we continue to develop a schedule, not just for Matt Campbell, but also for our coaches, because our coaches have young families. And how can I make sure we do a great job of being better fathers and being better husbands at home? Because I feel like if we're better fathers and husbands at home and we're aligned there, then we can be even better servants to the players in our own program when we're there, and being present when we're at work. And so I think I've been able to grow a lot in that way. And I think the first step is just recognizing, just how important that was. And I know I always believed it, but actually putting action into beliefs, I think that was an area for me that has grown immensely, even over the last 6 months.
Coach, thanks for giving us some time. And I want to point something out, Jeff. Coach has got some film he's breaking down in the back, so we don't want to keep him for too long, right?
All right. Well, I wanted to say two things as well. First, I love that trophy in the background. I can see it, so I can see you're not sleeping with it. You're actually keeping it on guard.
We got it on guard.
And I also saw the books on your desk, and when you were speaking, I thought about the book, The Servant.
I love it.
And it speaks volumes to what you've expressed this morning about loving your players and caring for them. And as a manager, boss, whatever someone wants to call me, one of the things this book speaks to is that we're not called just to do our jobs. We're called to love the people we do those jobs for. And so thank you again for all that you do. Thanks for being at Iowa State. Again, thanks for finding ways to be a partner in this process. And if we can do anything for you going forward, I know you know our number, our location. Please call on us. Have a great rest of the semester. And again, go Cyclones.
Guys, thank you for everything. I appreciate it. And the same thing from my end. Anything I can do or you need from me, please let me know, and go Cyclones. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach Campbell.
Well, Jeff, that was a privilege really getting to talk to Coach Campbell, and he doesn't really do those that often. So to give us some time and talk to us a little bit about the program and his life during the past year, really glad that he's leading our football program. Thanks for making that happen, Jeff.
Well, and the other thing I want to say is to get that behind the scenes opportunity to hear some of his personal story, and to see how there's really very little light between who he is as a coach and who he is as a person. And so I think as all of us are participating in this program tonight, what an incredible life lesson to just put in your back pocket.
And as Jeff mentioned, for those watching tonight, be sure to tune in on Friday. During the gala, our virtual gala event, 7 o'clock on Friday, we will show more from that interview with Coach Campbell. So Jeff, I think it's time for another giveaway. What do you say?
I was thinking that, and I have this mini black helmet, and most of you know that Matt Campbell has introduced this black color in terms of uniform and helmets into the Iowa State psyche. And so we got him to personally sign one of these, and you can see his signature there. And again, go Cyclones. And I want to congratulate Jessica Raycraft, class of 2017. graduated in apparel, merchandising, and design from Verona, Wisconsin. Congratulations, Jessica, and we will see to it that we get this to you.
Congratulations, Jessica. We will touch base with you later on to collect your prize of that awesome miniature helmet signed by Coach Campbell. All right, Jeff, let's talk about the importance of young alumni. This is Class for a Cause after all. Young alumni involvement and the impact they can make right here at Iowa State. The Alumni Association and the colleges have some easy ways to get involved, don't they?
You know, that's true. And I think, Matt, what's important is it's never too early to get involved. You know, I think you hear this when you come to Iowa State. Join a club, you know, get involved. Find something you want to do and like to do. And if we don't have it, create it. And Iowa State really created that for our students. And we think it's important that that tradition, because it is among Iowa State's traditions, it's called leadership. We want you to step out and find ways. And here at the Alumni Association, we have a group called Inside Influencers. Used to be called the Young Alumni Council. We did some transitioning in that program. But this group of young alumni have been giving us the opportunity to give them a chance to weigh in on our programming and our communications. I just like to shorten it by saying they help guide us. And so we need your perspective. We also have alumni networks. Many of you know these are all across the country. They're known as alumni clubs. We also have our awards program. We want you to nominate individuals, fellow young alums who are having incredible success, not only in their careers, but in their communities. You can do that through statement makers, and there's the Young Alumni Award. And don't think of the board of directors as just an organization or part of our organization that's made up of seasoned, mature alumni. We are very, very blessed that young alumni who have freedom in their schedules, within their budgets, and within their profession to come back 4 times a year and support the work that we do to make sure we're governing this organization as skillfully as we can. So as I just had mentioned earlier tonight, Trey Hemminson is up to be voted onto our board. And so we appreciate everything he's done as a club leader, what he's done on Young Alumni Council, and what he's now going to have an opportunity to do as he serves on our board of directors. There are also volunteer and award opportunities within your colleges. So don't overlook those things that are happening at the collegiate level, such as the Civil Construction and Environmental Engineering Gold Program, which seeks to engage graduates of the last decade. There's a similar program in Material Science and Engineering. There's also the College of Liberal Arts and Sciences has a Connect program. And then you have the Curtis League within the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. There are just plenty of opportunities for you to be engaged. And we're going to be sharing some of those opportunities in detail with you in a follow-up email that we'll be sending to you this evening. There are also a number of ways to give back to the university with your time and talent, as we have already mentioned. And we certainly know that the list we're going to provide to you is not exhaustive, but we also want you to know that we also believe in serving you. So it's not just about you serving the university. It's about the university and the Alumni Association serving you. So don't ever hesitate to call, write, stop in. Let us know how we can be of service to you, because we believe that service is a two-way street. So thank you again, Matt, for this opportunity to just touch on a few of the ways in which people can start to get engaged if they're not engaged, and follow people like Trey and that commitment to stay connected.
Absolutely. Thanks for that, Jeff. We always appreciate our alums that are making a difference right here at Iowa State, and also our alums that are making a difference in their communities everywhere. We wanted to take some time tonight to highlight some young alumni doing some interesting things. In fact, one of them is a former statement maker, as Jeff was talking about earlier. We'd love to share some stories about some ISU grads here at the ISUAA. You may have seen some recent Cyclone stories on our social media channels, or right here, maybe on Live from Size Lounge with me Wednesdays at noon. I was able to catch up with Vanessa McNeil and Stacy Negrete, both of whom are entrepreneurs and young alums. So let's take a minute to listen to a couple of their stories. Stacy, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
So tell everyone a little bit about yourself, what year you graduated from Iowa State, and what you studied there.
Sure. So I live here in Ames with my family. I went to Iowa State from 2010 to 2013, and I studied marketing there.
Very cool. So you are now the owner of a small business here in Ames. Tell us a little bit about Oak Lane Candle Company and why you decided to start it.
Yeah, so Oak Lane Candle Co. actually got its starts from my husband and I were adopting 2 kiddos from Uganda. And towards the end of our process, we needed a little bit more funding. So I started pouring candles and doing some research to try and make a good candle for people to buy so that they could kind of give that way. And it just took off from there. And I never really anticipated that we would have a storefront here in Ames and that people would just love the candles so much. So it's been an amazing journey.
How do you feel your Iowa State education helped prepare you to start your own business?
Yeah, so actually when I picked marketing, I honestly had no clue what I wanted to do. I knew that I needed some solid foundation for some business that I knew I would be, working in the future, but honestly didn't have any idea that I would be opening my own business and being an entrepreneur. So looking back now, I'm so grateful that I picked marketing and how it plays into my day-to-day role so much. And what's funny is I even have some of my old professors now coming in as customers. So it's been fun to kind of talk through things with them.
What's one piece of advice you might give to maybe a younger alumni, somebody that's looking to start their own business? What sort of advice would you give somebody, and maybe something that you learned along the way?
I would just say go for it. I think that it's so hard, especially when we have an idea. I remember when I was starting, I didn't even tell my husband for a couple weeks because I was a little bit embarrassed about the idea. I thought, oh, everybody tries to do this. It's something that's popular on Pinterest. And I was honestly just a little embarrassed. And so I think that you just need to do it and try it. And I feel like I've really found what my passion and I found what I'm good at by just trying things. And it's hard to, hear the word no, and it's hard to fail sometimes, but you honestly can't get anywhere without moving forward a little bit. So you definitely just need to try things.
Tell people where they can find your business and where they can find you online as well.
Yeah, so you can shop online anytime at oaklanecandleco.com. And then if you're here in Ames, we'd love to have you in our shop. We are at 121 Main Street. It's towards the east side of Main Street, right by Great Plains Pizza, Morning Bell Coffee, and the Grove Cafe.
Well, I'm excited to come into your store and check out all that you guys have to offer to the Ames community and people everywhere. Right? People can find you on the website. That's the best part about the internet and all this socially distanced. You can find people no matter where you're at. So, Stacey, thanks so much for being part of our very first Class for a Cause event.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
Our next young alum is a transformation coach, award-winning documentary filmmaker, and national speaker. Vanessa McNeil is the founder and executive director of Story Maven Media, a nonprofit media platform elevating social issues through documentary filmmaking. Vanessa, thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So when did you graduate from Iowa State, and what did you study when you were a student?
Yeah, so I studied Child, Adult, and Family Services, and I graduated in 2015.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about Story Maven Media and why you decided to start this company.
Yeah, so Story Maven Media is a nonprofit, and we focus on elevating social issues through the art of storytelling. And so we are working with, we're starting out programming and working with different youth programs to really help youth learn more about the arts and how to tell stories through them.
I know you've also produced a few documentaries. Tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, so I'm the director of Grid Shock, and it's an award-winning documentary about sex trafficking in Iowa. I wanted to prove that sex trafficking happened everywhere in the country, and if I could show people it happened in Iowa, then I know that they would understand that better. So I did that, and I also directed The Voiceless, and it's a documentary about male survivors, and that has screened all over the world.
So you graduated in 2015, and not just 5-6 years later, you've really grown this company. Where do you hope to see it grow into the future?
Yeah, such a good question. I really want to help people, especially the youth, especially at-risk youth, have opportunities to share their stories in artful ways. So getting into schools in the community and maybe in the future growing nationally, that would be amazing. But I want people to know that they have a voice and that they can share their stories.
What did your time as a student teach you about what you're doing with your career and with Story Maven Media today?
Yeah, I think that I was able to really understand that, like, for me, like, social work didn't just have to be the traditional sense of the way that we think about it, just like being a therapist or social worker, that I could create massive macro level change by being creative and focusing on something that I really love.
And then we were just talking a little bit about transformation coaching. This is something that you really started doing more of during the pandemic. Talk about what transformation coaching is and how you're working with people in this way.
Yeah, so I'm really working with people shifting their mindset, because success is 80% psychology and 20% mechanics.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really working with my clients to make mindset shifts so they can create the life that they want, because everyone has the power to do that. So it's empowering them so they can understand that and practice it in their own life.
Vanessa, thanks for sharing your story with us and for the work you're doing to make a difference as well.
Thank you.
Well, Jeff, we like to talk a lot about our alums making their communities, Iowa, and the world a better place, and no better two alums to represent that than those two we just heard from.
And we have more coming, and I want to just take an opportunity here to plug. I know most of you have received a postcard from a company called PCI, Publishing Concepts International, out of Dallas, Texas. And we're collecting cyclone stories. So if you've not shared your story, and what we truly believe is everyone has a story. So if you've not taken an opportunity to respond to that postcard or respond to one of their calls or emails, please do that. This is how we get these stories. We get these unique opportunities to use those stories, and that just only expands the breadth of Iowa State University.
Absolutely. Well, Jeff, I think we need to have some fun. What do you say? Not that this hasn't been fun already, but I think it's time for some a game of sorts. How does that sound?
Well, you scare me a little bit, because when you say fun, you may want to pick on me. But if that, I'll do what you ask me.
Well, I've got 10 kind of rapid fire questions here for you, Jeff. And I know a lot of people watching might know a little bit about you, but I think they're going to get to learn a little bit more about you here. So you ready, Jeff?
I'm going to be as ready as the questions will let me be.
All right. First one here. Favorite Psy logo?
Oh, that one's easy. The fourth one on the top there, the walking Psy with the pennant. That's my favorite Psy.
Okay, that's a good choice. I kind of like the walking Psy myself. What's that? The fourth one from the left on the bottom? That's my favorite.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff.
I like the one with the pennant.
Yeah, cool. Pepsi or Coke, Jeff?
I'm sorry to say neither.
Ooh,
water.
Water?
Water.
You can't. If you had to pick one.
Okay,
you're from the South, aren't you a Coke guy?
Yeah, but in the South, everything's a Coke, even if it's
That's
a Pepsi.
Right. Okay.
So I'm going to stay with water, even though it's not one of my choices.
All right. Number 4, let's see. Or no, is it number 3? 3, let's see. Favorite snack, Jeff?
Vegetables and hummus.
Ooh,
and hummus with red pepper.
Okay. Oceans or mountains?
Clearly mountains. That's all we do is vacation in the mountains. We love the mountains.
All right, I'm an ocean guy, but fair point. All right, favorite TV show, Jeff?
Well, this may be a bit of a shocker. If you watch HGTV, there's a new show on. Well, it's probably not new. It's been on for a while, but it's called Hometown, and it's filmed in Laurel, Mississippi. That's actually where I was born, and so that show is endearing because I went to school in a little town outside of Laurel called Ellisville. We tend to say it's the only town in Mississippi that is named in the Bible because it says you will be delivered from evil. And but Laurel is where I was born, so we really love that show. Now, I have to be very honest, the host I don't like, and I shouldn't say that, but they're Ole Miss graduates, and I'm a Southern Miss grad for my undergrad. And Ole Miss and Southern Miss would be like Iowa and Iowa State.
All right. There you go. So what was the name of the show again?
It's called Hometown on
Hometown,
HGTV.
all right. Number 6, advice you'd give your 30-year-old self. So a lot of people here might be in that 30-year range, Jeff. What's some advice you'd give a 30-year-old self?
You know, I hope this doesn't come across as pious, but I'm now 58, and as I look back, the advice would be do what you've done. Because I was really blessed. I had incredible parents, and born in 1963, and people know a little bit about the South in 63. I was a baby, had wonderful parents. I won't go through this much, but my dad had a saying that he raised his children with luggage, not baggage. And as a result of that, we felt free enough to do and try those things that were available to us, things that he could never have tried or done. And so as a result of that, I wouldn't change a thing. I've experienced an incredible life here in America, and I'm very proud of my parents.
So Jeff, I just have to chime in here. We've been getting a few responses from people from some of their favorites of these. So let's see, Ben says he likes the walking sigh, prefers the walking sigh over the flag sigh, I guess. Stacy says favorite show, I Love Lucy. I guess that's a little bit of a throwback, right, Jeff? That was probably, that was probably back in your prime, right?
I watched myself some I Love Lucy.
Trey must like that show too, Hometown. All right, Jeff, let's see. Let's pull up the next question here. Let's see. Favorite color, Jeff?
Cardinal, and I'm not just saying that because it's Iowa State. Goes well with my complexion.
Nice. Let's see. Finish this sentence. I wish I wasn't afraid to
swim.
Afraid to swim. Okay.
I am. No one needs to know that, but yeah, you know it now.
Interesting. All right. Ultimate question here. Over or under, Jeff?
I'm an under guy because you can get to keep pushing it back a little bit. I just don't like anything that's hanging, you know, so I'm call me a perfectionist, but I like to not see the tissue hanging in the bathroom. So I'm an under guy. Are you there, Matt? Matt, are you there? Matt, are you there?
Jeff, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, well, I lost my connection here for a second, so I'm just going to use the audio, okay?
All right.
All right, so the last question we had for you here, best memory of attending ISU?
Well, I'm a first-generation college grad, and I was blessed that I received my degree on a Friday night, my PhD from here at Iowa State in 2014, and the following Saturday, my daughter received her bachelor's degree. So not only did I go from being a first-generation grad, but having a second-generation grad in my family, as well as a legacy. And that was a proud moment, and that will always, always stand out as my best memory of attending Iowa State.
Very cool, Jeff. Can you still hear me okay?
I can still hear you.
Okay, Jeff, sorry. So, let's see here. All right, Jeff, that was fun. Thanks for being such a good sport with that. And I love that story about sharing with your granddaughter. What a special memory that was.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff, for the technical issue here.
It's technology.
Hey,
it's
you know
gonna
what?
happen.
We're going to try and roll with it.
You bet.
All right, Jeff, so why don't you introduce our next video?
So, Matt, this is incredible, and it's an opportunity. I'm getting feedback.
That's okay.
So it's absolutely phenomenal and beautiful for us to have this opportunity as part of our Young Alumni Gala Class for a Cause. We're so lucky to have young alumni doing exciting things, and we can't wait to hear more of their stories. We also want you to be on the lookout for a follow-up email that will be coming to you. So let's go to this next video that I think you will enjoy, an opportunity to hear from a young alum, Lauren Grant-Vose. Lauren originally grew up here in Ames. She graduated in 2015 with a degree in culinary science. She put together an exclusive how-to create a great brunch board with a cocktail. So get your pens and paper ready. I think you're going to enjoy this.
Hi, my name is Lauren Grant-Vose, and I'm a 2015 graduate of Iowa State University, where I studied both culinary food science and journalism and mass communications. My goal with those 2 degrees was to end up at a food magazine after school, which I did. I ended up working for Cuisine at Home magazine, where I developed recipes and wrote for their issues and special interest books. I now do the same thing, but in a little bit of a different capacity. I run my own business, Zestful Kitchen, which is a recipe and cooking website, as well as a freelance side of things, where I develop recipes, photograph food, and write about food. It's always about food. Zestful Kitchen is really devoted to promoting healthy-ish cooking, which what we like to define as flavor forward, healthy as a second focus, because if it doesn't taste good, you're not gonna eat it. So we like to make sure that everything tastes delicious so you don't feel like you're sacrificing. Today I'm gonna be sharing some of my absolute favorite recipes with you that's perfect for a Valentine's Day brunch. Whether you're looking for something that's super romantic or maybe a Valentine's Day get-together, this spread will be perfect. I'm gonna be pairing it with a blood orange mimosa, which I'm really excited about because it's absolutely stunning and delicious. So let's get started. All right, so this is our spread today. We're gonna be making a smoked salmon platter with blini, not to be confused with the cocktail, but with the small buckwheat pancake. So what we're gonna first start with is a big platter. I've added some oranges just for a little bit of an option. You don't have to add fruit, but you can. And then we have some capers, which is classic with smoked salmon, and then we're gonna start to slowly build from there. So first and foremost, these are our blinis, which are mini buckwheat pancakes. As you can see, they're very small. What you're gonna do is you're gonna build onto this a miniature sandwich of sorts, an open-faced sandwich. So what I'm gonna first do is kind of figure out what I want to be on my plate and the focal point. So we have some beautiful dill cream cheese here that I made, just classic cream cheese with some fresh dill and some black pepper. So I'm gonna make that kind of the focal point, since that's the beginning part of making these small sandwiches. So I'm gonna put that there, and then I'm gonna start layering in my blini. And I just wanna make sure that I have enough for people to make 3 or 4 per person. I'm just gonna start arranging these in. Then as this starts to fill up, I'll kind of try to visualize where this should go. And I'll need to leave some space for the salmon and the dill. So you wanna make sure that there's some open spaces for that as well. All right, I have quite a few of these, so. All right, that should be good for now. And then I have some chives, and since these can just be picked up with a small spoon or your hands, I'm just gonna sprinkle them around. Like that. And then I have some smoked salmon. You can use lox. This is just some cold smoked salmon, but you can also do thinner slices of lox. So I'm just gonna arrange these in here. Oops. Just put that guy on there. And you can also add some sweet elements. So if somebody doesn't want the savory fish, you can add some jam or honey to the board, some butter, even some bacon or avocado. This is really add what you like. This is the classic version of a smoked salmon platter, but you can also add a ton of different toppings. So use what you have on hand and what you like. All right, so all I did was add a spoon here, and that's it. That's your smoked salmon platter. It's super simple, very easy, but also stunning. A classic thing you can also add is some minced shallot or red onion. I'm keeping it simple with some chives, but again, you can add whatever you want. Avocado, bacon, anything like that would be a great addition to this, as would some sweet elements like some jam, almond butter, or butter if somebody wants to skip the salmon, skip the savoriness, and go right to the sweet. We're also going to be serving this with a blood orange mimosa. So what I have here is some fresh blood orange juice that I squeezed, about 2 ounces in each flute. And I'm gonna pop the bubbly, oops. And I'm also gonna grab some ginger liqueur. I'm gonna add just a splash of ginger liqueur into each blood orange flute filled with blood orange juice. Just a little bit, not too much, for a little bit of a zip from that ginger and some sweetness. And then we're gonna fill it up with some of our sparkling wine. I'm using Prosecco here. You can use really anything you like, but I like Prosecco in this. All right, let that foaming come down a little bit. All right, it's such a beautiful pink color. Ooh. And then you can see that the bubbles get a little bit of orange juice in them. And then we're gonna garnish with some blood orange slices so you know what's in it. And that is your brunch spread for Valentine's Day. So this is what the blini looks like when it's all assembled with the dill cream cheese, the smoked salmon, chives, capers. It's a super simple recipe, but it's also very elegant, so it's great for Valentine's Day. Combine this recipe as well as the blood orange mimosa recipe on Zestful Kitchen, in addition to an array of healthiest recipes for weeknight dinners to healthy desserts. I hope you have a wonderful Valentine's Day. Cheers.
Are we back? Can you hear me, Jeff?
I can hear you, and I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
Oh, I am hungry too. I don't know if you saw this, Jeff, and I did mention this earlier, but Lauren posted a video to our social media earlier. It was a blood orange Boston sour drink that just looked amazing. So her drinks, her spread there just looked amazing. So yeah, making me hungry for maybe some brunch or for some dinner. What do they call that? Brunch dinner combination? I don't know. Sounds good. Whatever she made. I love smoked salmon, so that platter looked great.
Well, just a good example, another example of these incredible stories and how people are using their Iowa State degree. And I'm just really thrilled. And what I want to say is we're lucky to have young alumni doing exciting things, and we can't wait to hear more of not only their stories, but as I keep saying, stories from our listeners tonight. So a special thanks to our Alumni Association members. So for those of you who are on with us tonight who are members, thank you for being a member. It's through your membership dues that we're able to produce programs like this, as well as get our travelers out to cover stories. And if you're not a member, you know, typical Jeff Johnson is going to always ask, please consider membership. We're going to be sending information to you and hope that if you're not a member, you'll consider joining through those vehicles that we send to you.
Absolutely. Jeff, let's give away a few more prizes before we send everyone off. So since this is Class for a Cause, we want you guys in the chat to tell us what college you graduated from at Iowa State. So what college you graduated from, we'll pick 2 people randomly to win a dozen Insomnia cookies. All right, Jeff?
I think there's still some in the box. Yes, there are.
I think this is all I have left.
But we do have these, and we'll be glad to take those. So go out on the chat right now and list the college that you graduated from.
All right. Perfect. So in the meantime, while people are commenting, Jeff, let's give away our last mini black helmet that I have, that last one here, the Coach Campbell signed black mini helmet. Let's see if I can get that in focus there. Maybe not. Coach Campbell signed these. Let's announce our winner, Jeff. Who do you got?
I think I have here Amy Vincent.
Yes.
Class of 2012, agricultural business, international agriculture, and economics. She's from Cary, North Carolina, and she is also a life member of the Alumni Association. So thank you, Amy, and congratulations.
Congratulations, Amy. We will be in touch with you about receiving your mini helmet. All right, Jeff, the comments are flowing in, so I'm just going to pick the first 2 that I see here in the chat, okay? Let's see. What did you say, Jeff?
I was just going to say, if you say business, make sure you say the Ivy School of Business.
There you go. So John Hooker will be our first winner, aerospace engineering grad. All right, John.
Wasn't John late for class?
Was John late?
I think John was late for class, but we'll let him be a winner.
Okay. He stuck around till the end, so we'll give it to him.
There you go.
Yep, and let's give our next one to Jacqueline Ludke, Liberal Arts and Science. All right, Jacqueline. So Jacqueline and John will be our 2 winners for the dozen cookies from Insomnia Cookies. Congratulations to you 2.
Yeah, congratulations.
Very cool. All right. Well, we want to thank everyone who watched live with us tonight and participated in the chat. I could see lots of people commenting throughout the night, Jeff. We had some people were commenting about Lauren's video, the salmon platter, giving their suggestions about what they wanted. I think someone said bacon might make it better, so I can't disagree with that.
No, and you can't be in Iowa and disagree with bacon.
Absolutely. That's a fair point, Jeff.
Well, I think tonight has come to a close. And yes. I hope that all of you who are with us tonight will plan on being with us on Friday night for the Cardinal and Bowl Mask-erade. Again, It's going to be a fun evening. We want to share with you again that we'll conclude that Matt Campbell, another portion of that interview, and then we'll post the final interview. But again, thank you for being with us tonight, and class is dismissed.